Hi everyone. I'm trying something new tonight. I'm going to be going through the Am I the A-hole subreddit. I've never done this before, but I've seen a lot of other YouTube channels doing it and it looks really fun. So let's see what we come up with here. Okay, so the first one is, am I the a-hole for yelling at my girlfriend for baking a dessert for a dinner party? That sounds interesting. Let's see what goes on. I, 26 male, have been dating my girlfriend Rosie, 23 female, for a year now. Rosie and my mother do not get along. It's just about the fact that their personality differences are so large. My mom is a more conservative and reserved person, and Rosie is the opposite of that. My mom is a really picky person and has never been happy with anyone I date over the years, but I usually ignore her because it's not her life. Yes, I always shut down my mother's snarky comments about anyone I date. On to the problem. Tomorrow night, my mother is hosting a dinner party for everyone in our family. I'm not sure about other families/cultures, but usually when we throw dinner parties, everyone will bring something. I thought this was the perfect time for Rosie and my mom to get along better. I told Rosie that she should home make something. I also made something. My mother hates anything sweet, so I told Rosie to refrain from baking any desserts. Rosie said she wanted to bake something because it's what she does best when it comes to the kitchen. I told her to look up a recipe on Google. She was quiet, and about an hour later, I came downstairs because I could smell something sweet, and I found Rosie piping macaron batter. Sorry. I freaked out. I started yelling about how I told her to specifically not make anything sweet because this was her one chance to get on my mother's good side, and I feel like she only made the dessert to be petty. She got upset and told me not to raise my voice at her and that she was not doing it to be petty. She just doesn't care what my mother thinks of her and that my mother is not the only guest at the dinner party. I got frustrated and made the mistake of telling her to stay home instead, and she told me that she would and that she now would not go no matter what, even if I change my mind. I regret telling her that because if she doesn't go, my mother will really not like her. But am I the a-hole for telling her not to bake something sweet? Edit, I made a lasagna for the party. I keep seeing that question, so I thought I would put it here, and yes, it is homemade. Okay, so my thoughts are, I can understand both sides of the story. Since I do have anxiety, it can be really hard, especially when facing social situations, to want to make something that you're not as good at making. You're probably not going to be as comfortable with it. It might not turn out that great, and you don't want to be made fun of, especially if it's a large group of people and by someone who already doesn't like you. But on the other hand, as the original poster says, they obviously care that, at least a little bit, that the mom and the girlfriend have a good relationship. They don't want that relationship to be strained further by bringing something that the mother clearly hates. Personally, since I am a big suck up to adults, in some scenarios, I do stick up for myself, but anyway, I probably would have made both, maybe a small dessert for the rest of the party who does like it, but also some food, that the mom would like. I can't really fault someone for getting frustrated, especially before a big party. That can be a very stressful time, but, yelling obviously isn't great. So I don't know if I'd call them an a-hole, just, maybe try to think of it also from the girlfriend's perspective, maybe try to come up with a compromise instead of just saying not to go. Anyway, I hope your situation gets better. And let's find another one. Okay. Alright, this one, we'll see how it goes. Am I the a-hole for cutting my portion sizes in half at the dinner table after being served heaping portions by my mom? Growing up, my family and I were all fat. They never taught me about good nutrition, portion sizes, and the only exercise I got was gym class. So, of course, I was used to all this, right? Especially since a lot of my friends were the same. When I went to college, I was exposed to a lot of new things, and I learned quickly that my family's habits weren't healthy. For years, they always said the weight was genetic. When I'd go to lunch with my friend group at the dining hall, I started noticing that my portion sizes were huge against theirs. I cut down my portions and I joined them during yoga and stuff. Naturally ended up losing some weight, like size 22 to tight size 12. I really like the way I look. You can see my collarbones. But I ended up having to go back home during summer break, and I've been surprised at just how different I feel from my family. When we would order pizzas 2 years ago, we'd basically each get our own, and it would be gone that night. We had pizza night when I got home, and I ate 2 slices, and that was it. Last week, my mom made her special lasagna. I made a side salad to go with it. She always plates the meals and then sets the big dish in the middle so we can have more. Well, the piece she gave me was way too big, so I cut it in half and served myself more salad. My sister immediately got on my case about how rude that was to Mom because she worked hard on the lasagna. I said that I couldn't eat that much food in one sitting, and she scoffed and said that didn't used to be a problem. I said yes, but if you can't tell, things have changed a little. She got in my face and said that I brought my college BS home with me and I should have left it at the door and ate like a normal person. I told her that I was eating like a normal person, that everyone I knew at school eats like this, and that we're the abnormality. That it's not normal to be so stuffed at the table you're in pain. My brother chimed in, saying that I'd just gained the weight back, so stop pretending. I'm better than they are, but I don't think I am at all. I'm no better than anyone, but I also don't think I am wrong for sticking to smaller portions instead of being stuffed all the time. Am I the a-hole? Okay, so lots of things going on here. I can definitely empathize. You know, staying healthy and figuring out what's healthy for you. That's a big one. And, I feel like a lot of people struggle with this. And, I don't think anyone is definitely an a-hole here. I think it's right to stick by what you have found to be healthy and helpful for you. If you, feel like limiting your portions and exercising, those are generally good things as long as you don't take it too far. I'm not a promoter of diet culture or, overly glorifying being obese either. I think there are just so many extenuating circumstances, including mental health, eating disorders, all of those conditions, it's just a lot to consider when it comes to analyzing weight discussions and health. Like for instance, it seems like eating huge portions are normal in this family, but I don't know what background the parents came from. If they were poor and didn't have access to, a lot of food growing up, and, insights into which foods are healthy, less healthy, how much exercise to get, what types of exercise, how to make that all work for you personally, and how you feel the best in yourself. That's background information that we don't have. Personally, I find it reasonable to, eat smaller portions, especially since initially the original poster was not trying to force their health guidelines onto the family. They just quietly took their own, and cut down their portion. I would say maybe they should have had a conversation privately with the mom, before eating, just to say, heads up, how I've eaten has changed a little bit. I'm really appreciative of the effort that you've made preparing dinner, but I'm just going to, stick to what I have found to be healthy for me. Now, I don't think it was good, although I know things get heated in arguments, I don't think it was good for her to tell her sister that, she was eating abnormally, and that the OG was a normal person. That can be very inflammatory and hurtful if the sister is personally struggling with their weight journey or, self-confidence. It can be, hard to take that as a comment. But yeah, I think this is just going to be an ongoing journey, that, hopefully, OG Poster and their family can learn to see both sides of the conversation, maybe come to a happy medium. That's what I have for that one. Oh, okay, here's a good one. Would I be the a-hole for making my bio dad pay for my college tuition? I'm female, 21. My dad abandoned me before I was even born. He wanted nothing to do with me. My grandparents did force him to some kind of parenthood, but he only put his name on my birth certificate and then deleted himself from the picture. It was sad growing up, but then I got used to it. I have a great mom and family to support me, so I'm okay. I know he has a family now, but I don't know them that well. I think the last time I spoke to him, I was like 10 or 11. I am going to college this year, as I couldn't go when I finished high school because I couldn't pay for it and wanted to save some money first. My mom and grandparents from both family sides have also helped me, although I'm still a little short. I don't know exactly what happened, but my family is now pissed off with my dad because he is paying his son's college tuition and not mine. He came to my grandparents' house yesterday when I was there, I go there daily, and asked to talk to me. He basically proposed to me to pay my tuition completely. I felt pretty awkward, to be honest, because he has never done anything for me, and now he wants to do that. He also asked me what I was going to study and which college I wanted to go. That's the most interested I've seen him about me in all of my life. I told him I had almost all the money to pay for my own tuition, so I didn't need his money, and I asked him why he was doing this. He told me he wanted to make it up and asked me to take the money. He told me I could save my own money for rent so I don't have to work while in college. I tried to reject his offer again, but he told me to please think about it though. Later, I told all of this to my mom, and she thinks I should take the money as paying for my tuition is the least minimum my dad can do for me, but I feel bad taking money from him. He's basically a stranger to me, so I am unsure. But at the same time, I would feel like an a-hole if I didn't, because apparently he wants to change his attitude towards me, and I would feel like I'm telling him F off, you know? I don't want to be a resentful person. My friend recommended me to post here to hear a different point of view. After all, I think my mom had enough reasons to hate him and speak, though, that hate, so I don't know if I should listen to her advice on this. Okay, so many things to consider. First of all, college, extremely expensive, so, taking the money might be a good idea, but I would really, before deciding, I would consider how much of a relationship you want with your biological dad going forward. And I would also think you should have a conversation with him about how involved he wants to be in your life moving forward. And maybe you can talk about what you are both comfortable with, if you even want a relationship with him moving forward. Maybe you don't. Maybe you're fine with how it's been for the rest of your life. But I'd still recommend that you really, think about what you're comfortable with in terms of relationship with him, and then speak to him and see how he wants to move forward. If it's just paying for tuition and you are happy with that and you need the money, then great. If he wants to open the door further besides money and you are not comfortable with that, then you need to make that clear. I wouldn't say that it's necessarily a bad idea to take the money, but it really just depends on if that money comes with strings attached and if you're comfortable with that. It's a tough situation, and whatever you decide is going to be okay, but I just thought was a good thing to mention. Alright, so that's what I have for tonight. Let me know if you enjoyed this, and have a great night, everyone.